Happy Friday, everybody! Getting a little saucy, getting a little zesty with my intro. People are wondering, like, yo, I turned this video on. I'm just like watching some gameplay footage of Armored Core. If I want to watch that shit, I just like take a time machine back in time and check out where all the popular YouTubers and streamers were playing. They gave up on the game though. I don't blame them. To be fair, I gave up on the game. It's like, even though I'm showing off footage of me rage quitting, like, there was this one part where I was literally doing the exact same thing in ranked, and then they just, like, banned me from ranked. Like, I just, like, went yesterday to just try it out again. Like, they wouldn't let me queue up on the match. I'm like, ah, fuck you, FumpSoft. It's like, yo, you're gonna be mad at me, and you're the lazy one. I bought your fucking DLC. I bought Night Rain Special Edition, just so what, like the fucking one new map, two new characters, no new weapons, by the way. Just same old bullshit, same old underpowered what do you call it? Powers that you get. I forget what it's called. That you get every single time. And it's just like, they like you to grind for absolutely no reason. Like, is there any point to doing Depth 5 of the Evernight, whatever the fuck it's called? No? No special skins, no reward, nothing? Just do it for fucking funsies and shit? Yeah, FromSoft fell the fuck off. Like, you know, it's totally against games like this, although you can argue that Elden Ring was very much for the co-op experience, especially since it pits the invaders against an entire team versus just like one person playing by themselves most of the time. Well, we gotta talk about it. The Flamboyant Friday. My goodness. So, news reports have been coming out that people are shouting Allah Akbar and then doing some fucked up shit. Like, what else is new? What else is new? In fact, you know, it's come out that there's this thing where they're trying to indoctrinate your kids first with like drag hour, fucking hell, gay dude like dressing up as a girl, trying to read to little kids basically. I forget what it's called, drag time story hour. I don't fucking know. It's like, yo, making me like think about it makes me illiterate. I mean, the opposite effect of what it's supposed to do. And then, like, all around the world, you're hearing about, like, the realization that, like, and it's like, it's just as I said before, a lot of the times that these guys are popping off and doing this is, like, the least attractive, like, basically the foot soldiers, the waste of their species and shit. R-type reproductive strategy has not helped them in the slightest. And like this whole thing is culminating in a court case over the death of Henry Novak because of fucking what's his name again? Ah, forget it. Some Sikh dude. His name is Bigwa. Vikram. That's what. Yeah. And they're like offering this kid manslaughter. not the jury. The jury hasn't decided yet. But seeing as the way there was a Pakistani airport incident with the individual who like punched the girl and stuff, the jury doesn't want to retry them. So if that's the trend that we're supposed to be following and stuff, see, I died twice. They revived me. This is what you don't find in other online multiplayer game communities and shit. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like. Yeah, most likely they're gonna like make this kid walk. It's gonna be like one of the many needles that broke the British camel's back, or you know, donkey's back, whatever euphemism or simile or whatever symbolism you want to use, because I just don't see this like getting any justice. I see this as people literally like having the absolute like utter realization that the shit that like people push away, like let's say you're dealing with like the whole, anti-black racism bullshit, right? Which actually does have, a little bit of like gravitas to it. But you pretend that like, nah, it's not gonna bother you. It's not gonna bother you. It's never gonna be like, something that you're gonna have to deal with personally and shit. Until you have to, until you do, and then you're forced to. Like, let's say it's personal, it's about your kids or like, whatever. Like, you can't escape from it, right? And it's also like when you're dealing with like these, as I pointed to before, the permanence of like having this special treatment, like it's never gonna go back. Like people aren't gonna like consider you the same level of human, the same level of like man, woman, anything as everybody else because you got a special protection where everybody else does hard time for carrying knives. You get to carry your fucking kirpan and shit. And it's all about like your special treatment, the Muslim special treatment. There's no such thing as Islamophobia. Man runs around this fucking bus in Sweden shouting Allah Akbar. And I want you guys to pay attention to this individual who's doing it. Like when I said that they're sending like their foot soldiers in, like the people who are expendable and shit, it's like these young people, these like ugly people, these like wastes of life and shit. And they're the first to go. And like Islam and Sikhism very much dictates that like the lower tiers, the lower layers of their society, even though they don't want to admit to it, they very much exploit their own people, right? Like when you think about suicide bombs, when you think about like the paper mill colleges that are forcing these people to come in and work for, trucking companies or whoever to like be exploited by their fellow Sikhs and shit, right? Like they very much have a hierarchy, even though they turn their nose up against the caste system. They also have like their very own version of a class system, if you will. And he's just like, he's in Sweden. No, Switzerland. I don't fucking know. I think it was Sweden, right? Shouting Allah Akbar, knifing people. All these like, hot girls around them, ignoring him day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, right? And this isn't gonna go away. Like the permanence of this shit is going to affect these people, and like everyone's, saying the same thing, like the same thing that I've been saying the whole time. It's like you want respect, but you don't want to fix the place where you come from. You want to blame everybody else for your living situation, even though technically speaking, you are the only homogenized people. Like there isn't like a multi-ethnic problem. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't blame the Jews, you can't blame the Christians. You gotta blame yourself, right? Solely yourself, right? I think like also the mercy that these people have received has allowed them to like carry out this level of violence and barbarism. Like the mercy that, let's be honest, nefarious people who, you can't physically or in terms of law on the books prove that they are complicit or coerced or whatever by these kinds of movements. They always bring up the idea of, oh, human rights or, oh, refugees welcome here. Like, when the fuck did we ever become a society that simultaneously hates men but also loves men, right? Because it's like, men are all the problems with the world, blah, blah, blah. But then you have like entire fucking boats of them coming into the fucking country and shit. And nobody like, scratches your head and be like, wait, wouldn't that like add to like the problems that men, whatever? And then I realized something, right? The flamboyant nature of it, like why I embraced it and why men who pretended to be men, like let's take Andrew Tate, like he's probably kind of like the balance or the midpoint between, you know, a normal person and corporatism, because he's touched that level of like wealth and affluence and soul to soul and yada yada yada, right? And I think like there's layers to it. Like you can get on Andrew Tate's level, or you could get on some like Epstein shit where you're like, you know, you're compromised, you're doing that whole thing with the mask parties or some shit like that. They're like recording you having sex and shit. I mean, like I said, like he has his webcam. Andrew Tate has his webcam service, and like, you know, that's pretty scathing and shit too. But it's like, you know, he's not like, you know, flying people out to like, you know, some like island and shit, having underage girls and stuff that like disappear. Well, for all we know, right? And the permanence of their actions is why men like me, or just me in general, like I embrace my flamboyant nature, is to be like, you were never man. This whole idea of being a man is just a mask to let you do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's true, right? Like, if you think a man is a man, right, you're more intimidated by him. Right off the jump, you're like, oh, this guy's tough and shit. Like, I would have put it by me that Chase Demore was probably thinking that he might have, like, walked into a fight he could have lost against Andrew Tate. Like, not knowing his, like, previous skill level, or, like, you know, what his, like, intention was behind the whole fight. Because I think Andrew Tate, like, maybe he thought he could win the fight, but like more importantly, I think it was destined for him and the older generations to lose. And I'll tell you the reason why. The human race has been spawned and controlled by the male, like, proposing genome, right? Obviously, the male and the females share the same genome, but the females in our race have been, you know, they when we reproduce with them, they have, you know, their bones are have less density. They tend to be smaller, shorter, you know, and this affects the whole human race. So like the whole flamboyant nature for men to embrace this fallacy of manhood that they never possess, because it's like they're on gear, they actually don't know how to fight. And then you go into the like the deeper layers of like the guys who are into the whole like pedophilia, Epstein type shit, to like, you know, people in the government who work at like, you know, banks, who like have, you know, like these separate, you know, societies parallel to our own societies, with like child sacrifices and things that we all thought that this was crazy, right? And when Cat Williams basically started like saying it, but not saying it, but at the same time, like the demons were all gonna come out. Everything was gonna come out. And when it did, I think it was an opportunistic time for some people, where they see this as a means, as like a smokescreen. That's like, oh, you're focusing on these people, but you're not focusing on these other people, right? And like, why do you think we have so much bad things happening in our society right now? It's because it's like we've been so infantilized, we've been so taken in by this idea that we should care about people who have an unreasonable amount of control in our lives. But even if we did care, we could do nothing about it other than voice our opinion, which oftentimes fall upon deaf ears. Oftentimes. And the obvious solution to this is the consistency that they lack, right? Because I'm looking at it right now. I'm seeing reports that large percentages of young men are using steroids, PEDs, SARMs, whatever substance, to build strength. And this is a zero-sum game. Because if the entire generation, or large swaths of the generation, are hollowing themselves out, they're basically de facto enabling, you know, people from third world countries, or like who don't have access, at least yet, to those steroids, to those substances, to like take advantage, but like nobody wants to breed with them either. And so what you're seeing is large groups of people like dealing with the idea that women want to be alone. They just desire it. And I've made this observation, right? And this is just gonna sound dumb, but just like hear me out. This is the title of the video. It's called Flamboyant Friday. So I noticed that girls tend to like to wear brown a lot. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, cool, it's my skin color, but like, why? What's the real reason behind it? And then I started to think about it. It's like, well, if you think about like how girls think and stuff about like, you know, food and like, you know, symbolism and like, you know, nuance and stuff, girls who wear brown are like chocolate, you know? And when girls are like, you know, embellishing this color, what they're basically saying, without saying it, at least this is my assumption, I could be wrong about this, is that they like other women. That's right. Women are attracted to other women. Because women are so beautiful. Like, why wouldn't they be? You know? Obviously, I could be wrong about this, and you know, it could be on my head and all that shit. But like, as the world is like becoming more and more crazed and like manic, I just been, you know, and I don't mean to brag. Okay, whatever. I just been taking care of my own priorities and have found success with that. Now, should I say to you, the listener and the viewer, oh, you should do the same, or whatever, I don't know your priorities, I don't know your living condition, and whatnot. And most likely, you're a viewer of my channel, you know, behind a VPN, and was just like wondering, what is the state of, you know, the world, the economy, pretty much everything, in generally speaking, from my point of view. Now, to that I say, so, speaking of flamboyant, so your boy, Gabe Newell, damn, Gabe Newell, this is gonna be fucked, man. So you think that my rage quit intro, my 2-minute rage quit intro, that was zesty, that was spicy? Oh my goodness. You have no idea. So Gabe decided, you know what, Sony? I like Azure. he's a cool dude. He's like, you know, ponying out for you guys. He's a Sony pony. He's like, you know what? I think my Steam users are like a steamboat. I'm gonna tug my steamboat and raise the price of my console. Get this, $350 American. Are you fucking joking? Oh my god! Everybody was just like, yo, Gabe, you're gonna save us. You're the messiah, and this and that. Now, they still like the guy, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, yo, you look at a move like this, and you realize, if you got into the gaming industry, you are in such good hands, dude. In such good hands, because you don't control the market behind hardware. You wish you did. It's a I wouldn't say billion right now, but it's like hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, possibly approaching billions. I could be wrong about that, right? And then like that's not even involving the whole software aspect and like, you know, the whole bridge for these companies to just, you know, be profitable endlessly. What in the fuck am I even like? First, all these consoles start raising the prices for like their services, their online services, whatever, paid for, and this and that. Then they all increase the prices of their consoles, and then they all increase the prices of their services. At least again for Sony, the online aspect and the games, and And everyone was just like, "Oh fuck, dude! I guess I'm gonna have to get a PC." I guess. Oh dude! Oh man! Are you gonna get a PC? What's on PC again? Steam? It's like you can't escape it. You literally cannot escape it. It's everywhere. Every single angle. Every single possible way that they could take money out of your pocket, they do it. What? Oh my god, dude. I heard it's like 100 and something actually on one of the other models for the for the um for the smaller Steam Deck. But like, what does that say about the Steam machine? But I have a theory that like most likely they're trying to port Grand Theft Auto 6 over to Steam machine. Like this is why like, all these systems are playing, man. They're all talking about price increase, this and that. You know, we gotta monitor you. We need your fucking photo ID. That's actually a law in the UK. Fuck, dude. And do you know how much money is behind that? Like the governments are taking like a slice of that to monitor and this and to that. It's a lot of money. It's very flamboyant, eccentric, you know, nipple pinching time. You gotta pinch your pockets like completely until it's like, you know, bare. It's barren. You just start pinching or some shit like that. It's so flamboyant ass shit. Like what the fuck kind of like $350 price tag increase? Like what kind of fucking price increase is that? And I get it that's it's the high end model this and that, but like what for real now? What? And then like Sony went off, and then Microsoft is probably gonna go up again, and then Nintendo's talking about raising the price on their console again. It's like really? Why? I tell you though, just stays consistent. Like I'm not gonna like bore you constantly with my habitual routines and this and that. I've already said it in length before and like wasted enough of your time speaking on it. And maybe like you have something more constructive to do with your time than exercise and like your aesthetics and this and that. And you worry too much about the world and people trying to be important, but they're not. Alright, take care.